Well, hey everybody, we are live yet again for another little stream. Thanks for joining me. Tonight I've got a special guest coming on I'm super excited about. We were just chatting a little bit. I'm going to bring him on in a little bit, but first I want to get a couple of things out of the way. First off, if you order a Chase the Summit trucker hat, they're in the mail. I've only got a few left, so I've got a little promotion for this stream. If you order one during the stream, I'll throw in a free sticker, one of these cool holographic stickers. So yeah, you barely saw that, did you? There you go, one of those. You get a free one if you buy a hat during the stream, or I'll just go till midnight. That sounds good. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to talk about is the podcast. This episode will be going on the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, all those places, basically everywhere, Google, I think. And if you listen to podcasts, check it out over there. I'm going to be spending a lot more time on podcasting, I think. I'm going to do some audio-only episodes that won't be on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. That's going to be my only shameless plug for this live stream. I want to get my guest on here. So my guest today is a fellow YouTuber that I've been personally watching for a couple of years, I think. I think I first stumbled across his channel when I was looking up Insta360 cameras because I was looking for 360 camera, and this guy showed up who was running, and I ran, and I just felt very related to him. He seems very honest and humble, and he's somebody who I admire because his videos aren't like catering to the algorithm. He's always doing his own thing. Whatever he finds passion in is what he makes videos about, and that I really admire. So without further ado, I got Mike. I don't know if it's Michael. I got Mike Ko, also known as Kofuzi, coming on the channel. Let's bring him in. Make sure this is working right. And let's unmute the interview. Yo, what's going on? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. I think, there we go.
Oh,
now I can hear you.
Yeah, you're right. What's going on, everybody?
How's it going, Mike?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. I feel it's weird because I watched your stream today while I was on the treadmill, and now you're here now. So it's like I'm in your stream. You're like in the same outfit. You're in the same place. It's just weird. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah, well, I did change the location. Now we're in the bedroom because, like, during the day, my wife works in here, and now she's done with work, so she's with the kids. So, like, I don't like this background as much. I've been giving her a hard time that she's on work Zoom calls with this in the background, but I'm especially kind of regretting it today because like this shirt is like the same color as the wall, so I just feel like I'm like camouflage in here. So I feel dressed. I'm trying to keep the energy level up because I feel like I'm a wallflower right now.
Oh, now that you say that, and you're on this little tiny monitor, like it looks like you're just a head.
I know. But like, there's only like so many spaces we could shoot against in this apartment. So, it's either this or I don't know. I think this was it. This is the shower, or either that or the bathroom, which I've thought about before.
Before we get into this, I've got some questions for you, some conversation. Mm-hmm. I do want to mention that I'll have Mike's channel linked down in the description because no one makes it to the end of these hour-long things. So I want to get you guys up front. Go check out his channel. If you haven't subscribed to it, you got to do it. He's down there. And you seem to be posting like crazy, man. I can't keep up anymore. You're a daily guy now, almost.
Well, I mean, I used to strive for daily, but that just got to be too much of a grind. And then some of the videos that I wanted to make really required a couple of days of footage. And so like that just made it like, well, I don't like to recycle footage. So then it felt like, well, the only way to do like a versus video where I've got two shoes, the same route, is like one day a week I have to not publish something. Yeah. So, I mean, there's other ways that I probably could get around it if I really wanted to go daily, but on the weekend, I like to have a long run. So gives me more time to run. So, 6 is still a lot. But 5 to 6 is usually what I shoot for.
Dude, that's too many. It's too many.
How do you find time? I feel like for me, it's either like I have to do 5 or 6 a week, or I'm only going to do 1 a month. And like, I don't know how to do like something in the middle between that. Yeah. Cause then I'm just like, then when do I bring the camera? I don't know. I don't want to make the decision and then regret not having it on a certain day. So just make it all the time. Just get into a workflow, keep the skills sharp. I'm kind of like the video version of that video. I'm like the YouTube version of the video of that one guy that can fold pizza boxes really fast. He just does like this. And have you seen that? He just folds them like he's got the muscle memory down. That's the only way that I think I could do this. If I tried to do like once a week, I don't think the videos would be very good.
On the topic of the pizza box guy, I was that guy when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
I could make 300 boxes in one shift. Piece of cake,
Yeah.
muscle memory.
Yeah. I mean, just like there's all those videos of like, when you're good at your job and there's just people that like have like these repetitive tasks they can do over and over again. I just love being able to be like that, like good at something. I mean, it's kind of sad to think about why they're that good at something, but then it's just like, I just like that level of proficiency.
Hey, maybe they're proud of it,
I'm sure that they are, because they're like, no one can make these boxes faster than me, and I got to make these before I can go home for the day, so I'm out. Like I love that kind of thing.
Hey, on the topic of YouTube, it's something I feel like I want to talk a lot about. I don't know how many people are interested in like the YouTuber life, but I always love probing other people that are kind of doing the same thing. When it comes to reviewing stuff, like I get, we all get free stuff, right? But free is never really free. There's always some expectation of what comes from what kind of content are you going to make? Is it going to be a negative or positive review? How do you navigate the waters with brands when it comes to like something you either absolutely hate, you find an issue with, or maybe you're just not totally interested in? How do you like, say for instance, Koros sends you a watch and it's trash. Do you make a video anyways and call it trash, or do you like hold back?
Yeah, I will. I mean, I won't call anything trash really, unless like the company has done something to really tick me off, And if they were going to do that, I'd probably figure that out before I got the product, But I've reviewed Koros watches and I think they're actually really great.
Oh yeah, me too. And don't get me wrong, Koros, if you're watching this, I used you as an example only. It could have been Garmin in the same sentence. So go on.
Yeah, but like the way that I would approach it is to say like I see where people were trying to go with this, or I'm trying to think of like, all right, this isn't working for me. Who did they make this for? And would that person like it? So like someone, I mean, if we want to talk about watches, TicWatch sent me something a while ago, and like it had a really great chip in it that they were very proud of. People in kind of the Wear OS world were pretty excited about that watch, but I just don't think Android is ready for sports. Like I don't know how the Cinto watch that's Wear OS. I don't know how do people live with that? I've never tried it, but I'm very not interested in it. Yeah. Because it's not their fault. So I'm trying to think of like where is like the misconnect between like a great product and where this one is. So like that's what I'm trying to think of. Like, is this because they're trying to hit a price point? Is this in the TicWatch perspective? They executed a watch very well, but the problem is like the OS is like really holding them back in terms of being a great fitness or like activity watch. Yeah. And so like that's kind of how I always try to look at it. Like there's something that's not working here, and where is that coming? And so like I try to be constructive for people that are like either the brand that's looking at it or someone else that's kind of like thinking about this and saying like, well, I don't care about that. I'm not a runner. I do want to be able to generally have a little bit of sleep functionality, steps tracking, but I care about like emails and other apps. So like I might, if I say it's trash from the beginning, it doesn't help them very much. But if I say like, here's what I needed it for and it failed me, but here's other things that I think it did well, then I think that, there's still a way to like salvage kind of the video.
Yeah, those are two interesting products you just brought up. You're talking about the Pro 3 GP, the TicWatch Pro 3, right? That's probably the recent one.
Yeah. I mean, a great watch, but I just can't run with it.
I had mixed feelings on that. The one saving grace that I did find, somebody in the comments suggested it, was an app called Sporty Go. It's a horrible name, but they're always horrible. But it allows you to actually pair your Stride Pod to the TicWatch. Which is pretty cool. And all of that data is, it goes to the motion center or whatever they call that with Stride. So that was pretty cool. And it also allowed for like a chest belt to be worn or whatever. But like the built-in stuff, I found myself just banging my head against the wall. Like, how do I get my data out? Where does it go? It's just not that customizable. The Sunto 7 is really weird too, because I like aesthetically like it, but it's so weird. It's like, it's trying to be an outdoorsy like hiker's watch, but it's not. It's like an Apple Watch, but it's really weird. device.
Yeah, I just feel like there's more work to be done on that one. It's very pretty. I
Yeah.
like it. It's intriguing. And I like everything on paper is great on that one. But the reason why I haven't bought one to test is like when you look at, I'm like, what am I going to use to track my running on? And I'm like, oh, I tried that with the Tick Watch and it didn't work out great. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold off on that one until something else comes, until there's developments either in Wear OS or until Cinto can like figure out a way to push forward on that.
Yeah.
So
on your channel, you're really the shoe guy. You're all in on the shoe situation where
yeah, I like the shoes. It's been working for me. And from like a YouTube perspective, there's always new shoes and they're kind of like like consumables almost. So like you always need new ones. So that makes it nice for someone that's trying to put out a lot of content, but also I really like shoes. So it kind of works out well.
So if you could only run in one pair of shoes for the rest of your life, what pair would it be?
I get this question a lot, believe it or not.
Oh no, I believe it.
Yeah, but I would run in the Nike Pegasus 33 Shield.
Okay.
It's an oldie but a goodie. I still have my pair. I just wear it around, even though like everything is like blown out on it. I just still like it a lot, and it's the first shoe that I ran in the winter, like year round. And I was like, people can run year round. I didn't know that. People run year round outside in Chicago. I didn't know that. And then that's the shoe that I bought to try and do it too. And so like, it's a good shoe, but also like there's a lot of like sentimental value because that was like the first realization that I think I like running in cold weather better than hot. So
yeah, there's some middle ground there, man. There's I don't know. Like I'm good with I actually prefer 20 and dry than like 35 to 40 and rainy. That is just the worst. The rain, you're getting soaked through and so bad. What's Kofuzi's ideal running conditions? Like primo day.
Like 30 degrees and snowing. Like big puffy white like giant snowflakes, the kind that like you can see it, like it lands, it looks like a spider, a white spider like landed on your shoulder. Like that's my favorite kind of running conditions.
I mean, that's pretty, but it's only pretty for like 30 minutes and then you're like soaked.
But it's just so much fun to run that way. And so I don't know, it just that kind of running, I like a lot of my videos, everything's in slow motion. When you run, I feel like when I run in snow, that's the closest like to have a real-time version of that. So like my mind's eye and like my like video like editor's eye are like in sync when I'm running in snow for some reason. Yeah.
I actually do an ultra every year, 50K in December. And it's always like that toss up. We're in New England, so you can either it could be a super mild 50-degree kind of chill day, or it could be like last year, or not last year because that was canceled, but the year before that, it was 10 degrees in ice, a sheet of ice, and just the coldest like wind chill and everything. I thought I was going to lose my toes that day. Actually, the race director gave me some hand warmers that I could jam in my shoes, and I ultimately made it to the end. So that was good.
Nice.
Let's see. I got some questions for you. Okay. Something I don't hear you talk about a lot on your channel is like a diet, right? I mean, I know you're like you're the non-elite, but you're a lot more elite than I am, for sure. So do you have like a strict diet that you follow when you're like training hard for a race?
No. I mean, when I'm not training for a race, which has been, all of last year, basically, the diet isn't great. It's I scavenge a lot of what the kids don't eat. But what helps me not to go too far overboard in that area is that I try to be plant-based for the most part. Sometimes, I'll have seafood. So, I mean, basically I don't eat like red meat, or white meat either, but pretty much everything.
Is that for like ethical reasons or just because you feel healthier not doing that?
It's mostly for feeling healthier, but environmental reasons as well.
Sure.
There's a little bit like some ethical concerns about that that go into it too. So there's no one like big reason for it. It just seems to be a more sensible way, like a strategy going forward that I think can scale up pretty well for like a population. I think that would help out a lot of our problems. But also it helps me feel good. And so like, yeah, I miss meat. And occasionally I will have it, like if I'm a guest at someone's house for dinner, and they got like sausages. I'm having sausage for dinner then. So it's kind of like it's very flexible, but whenever I have the opportunity to choose for myself, I'll elect for something that's plant-based. So I think that's like the main thing. So I do focus on like making sure it's not just all carbs, because that's really easy to do as a runner, and also as someone that's trying to eat plant-based. So I try to make sure I'm getting a lot of plant-based proteins whenever I can. And then when I'm training, that's something I pay even more attention to. But I'm never, ever very like strict. It's not, pizza is still a staple of my diet, even during a heavy training phase.
Yeah.
That may explain a lot in terms of my results, but everyone has their thing. There were like, I could gain a minute, but I'm not willing to if it means I have to do X, Y, Z. So that's I guess that's kind of my line.
You got to have your vice in life, man. You got to enjoy it a little bit sometimes too, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now on top of the food topic there, the other day you were streaming and you were talking about like a potential, you might be interested in running an ultra someday. Did you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Do you have like a goal or a distance in mind?
Well, I'd like to. I mean, I ran a 50K by myself last year.
Oh, nice.
So like a time trial, I guess. So I'd like to do one where there's like a medal at the end, and people there and cowbells and all that kind of stuff. I want the whole like. I've done the distance. Now I want the party kind of thing. So I do want to do a 50K. I'd like it to be a trail one. Hopefully not too rigorous of one in terms of like elevation and like, rockiness and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if it's a hilly one, that'd be fun too. I would like to do a 100K to hopefully, coincide with hitting 100,000 subscribers. So that's like a goal.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So like, I think I'd like to do that together. I mean, I feel like Ginger Runner like set the bar up super high because he did like a live stream the entire 100K. And I'm like, at that point, like, what do you do? Right? Like nothing I can do will top that. So like, I guess I'll run 100K longer than I've ever run before.
I got it. What you do is you get your silver play button. You put like backpack straps on it, and then you run the 100K with the play button in the back. There you go. It's an extra. It's like a weighted vest.
The only problem is I think it takes a long time to get the play button.
Oh no.
And I also suspect, and I've suspected this, in the days when like hitting 100,000 like was just like laughable as far as a goal. I mean, it still seems like somewhat untenable, but when it was just like 100,000, sure. Even then, I was just like, by the time I get there, I'm sure like the number will be 200,000. Like, I just don't think that button I will ever get it, because it's kind of like, like whenever someone's like chasing that BQ, it's like, I'm so close. Oh, guess what? The BAA like just changed the standards again. And now I'm still 10 minutes away, So I just feel like I'm never getting that button, but hopefully for 100K, we could do 100K, So
I think
that's kind of like what I think about.
They used to have like a bronze for 10K, didn't they? Like way back in the day.
There was some other button, I believe, that was out there, but it got taken away because so many people were hitting it, I think. And so I think that ended before I even started making videos. So it was never something that got taken away. But I think you're right. I think that did exist.
So now that you've unfortunately had to close your business, right? I've been following you for a while. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like YouTube's like your job now, or is this still your passion and something just fun you do on the side? Because we all know we're getting paid ultimately, right? Yeah. So when does this become like a job versus just something you do for fun?
I mean, there are times when it feels like a job, when like, you're going to, I mean, not that we're going anywhere now, but there were like events and stuff like that where you're like, I'm not sure that I would normally go to this as a fan. You might go to like a product launch or something that's in your area, and you're like, I know they just want me to go here, so there's some social media exposure. That's when it kind of feels like a job. And you're like, I guess I'll try to make a video out of this, because it's kind of, I mean, I don't take it for granted that, you know, getting an invite is a pretty cool thing to get, you know, and a lot of people would, you know, jump at the opportunity. But there's some events that are like outside of my wheelhouse, and I'm just like, I don't know why I'm here. That's when it feels like a job. But for the rest of the time, it still just kind of feels like, you know, this is something that I do that my family tolerates me spending a lot of time on. The other time it feels like a job is when I'm like, I got to track expenses and stuff and put together like some reporting. That's when it feels like a job, because I hate that stuff. I was bad at doing that for my job. And so I'm even worse at doing it for my fake job. So that's what I don't like. But for the rest of the time, it just still feels like, you know, I'm having a fun time with it. And it's interesting to see where it goes. It's just very surreal in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel that in my small scale, you know, this year's been like a lot of growth, and I don't even know how to handle it. I mean, I started this channel like genuinely just showing off my Phoenix 6 a year ago, and then people started watching it, and I still don't get why, but it is really cool to see channels like yours take off. And, you know, I see Ryan Clayton and Matt LeGrand in the chat, those guys, everyone's just killing it, you know, and it's all ships rise with the tide. So it's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube is the one place where that works, you know, so it's like really strange, but that's something that I think is amazing. But on the other hand, like, you know, you're saying like everyone's taken off, but like we're all taken off, but we've all known each other for years. So it's like, I mean, it's like, you know, every overnight success takes years, but so it seems like that to a lot of people. But, you know, I know how hard everyone else is working, because I see you guys all the time, not literally, but I see what you guys are putting out. But so, I mean, that part, you know, you really got to enjoy the grind of it. And there's just a lot of kind of like, and I think most normal people would probably have given up on this by now. There's a lot of that where you just have to keep pushing through, which I feel like, I mean, runners, I think, can relate to that all the time. And so I'm like, it baffles me that there are like almost an infinite number more of like iPhone YouTube channels than there are running YouTube channels, because it just doesn't seem like the mentality is there. Why aren't there more running YouTube channels?
I think the problem with that is you have to be like, you know, you got to be crazy passionate about what you're YouTubing about, your niche. And if you're not, I mean, you're going to put up 5 videos and quit, because I mean, some of the videos, you know, you post a video that you spent 2 hours filming, 5 hours editing, and then you get like 1,000 views and you make a whole $2.14. You know, that you can only take that so many times before you're like, maybe I should do something else with all this time. So yeah, I think you're right in that. It is strange though, because there are like, running is a very passionate hobby, you know, it's like people's meditation or yoga or whatever. And it's strange that there aren't more out there that aren't, you know, it's a strange thing. But I feel you on the bookkeeping side of it. I just had to do that for the first time, because like 2020, I actually, you know, there was an income, and it was freaking awful. Like I had to go back through all my Amazon, like all the things I bought, and I'm like, oh man, like that thing. Oh yeah, that thing. And I downloaded all the invoices and put them in the folder, and it was a couple hours of my life I wish I could get back, you know? But
yeah, I mean,
you know,
I'm already familiar with that, you know, like in terms of just the process of it, but I didn't really have a very good process. So I'm familiar with how painful it is. So yeah, I don't like that part.
we got some people in the chat. I guess we should see what's going on here. Jeff Elliott, thanks for joining.
Hey, what's going on, Jeff?
Leona Wong, thanks for joining.
Oh, hey.
We got Eric the Red, 2 great running YouTubers. Thanks for joining, man. Love this collaboration. Thank you very much. If you're watching now, we've got a good amount watching. If you are, make sure you let us know where you're from. And if you got any questions for Mike, make sure you drop them in the chat. We'll definitely be dipping in from time to time to see what's going on here. I was annoyed now and happy I stayed up until midnight to watch Fog Dogs premiere. And it turns out it's tomorrow night, so I'm here instead. Well, thanks. We're a good second option. Kofuzi is very prolific. He is. I was also the pizza box guy. It's definitely a learned skill. It really, it took a while to get snappy at it. It's, flip up, fold the sides, then pop it down on your lap and throw it in the pile. It's difficult. Yay, cold weather runners.
Awesome.
Sweet guest. I've been watching both your earbud vids this week, and my 4-year-old sound sports are dying. Any opinions on best true wireless earbuds? I know you've reviewed quite a few on your channel as well. What is your top pick these days for, let's say, like a cheap option and an expensive option?
For the expensive option, I'd go with the Jabra Elite 85T. That's what I'm running in now. And it works for me really well in the wintertime. I don't know how well they're going to hold up in the summertime when it gets super sweaty. The 75T might actually, or the 75T Active might be better. But those are kind of at the higher end. For the cheaper end, I recently reviewed Vankyo's, I think it was Alpha N10. I think it was $60, noise canceling. Everything was like, yeah, this is exactly worth $60. This is like a really good price point product. So no part of it blew me away. No part of it disappointed me. And so I feel like that's like the right, I mean, $60 I feel like is the new $40 for earbuds.
Yeah, seems like it.
And so, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I feel like the $40 and under earbuds really weren't lasting anyone longer than a month anyway. So I feel like that's where you got to be.
I tell you what, there's one, the MPOW M30. I made a video a year ago, and they still work, and I keep them on my nightstand and listen to podcasts. I use them daily, and those things have not failed me yet. But I don't know. I think for the expensive one, I'd go for the Jaybird Vistas. I really like those. But the bummer is transparency mode is like a must for runners. And I don't like recommending like earbuds that really seal and block out everything to like road runners because it feels irresponsible. But yeah, the Jaybird Vistas are really good for like trail running. So
yeah, a lot of people love those, but I just didn't like the sound profile on those. For me, like it didn't agree with me. I just felt like it left me wanting something more from it. I just didn't feel like there was enough sound to it. I don't know. But like that one though, they really emphasize that like you can wear them individually. And so if you needed to take it for like an ultra distance, you could wear one at a time. So I guess that would be that was the old school, like, pass through audio.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still do that with my Vistas. We got Matt LeGrand in the house. We got great to see two of my favorite running YouTubers. Thanks for joining, Matt. I thought actually he told me he couldn't join. He was going to be working, but he's here. So, hi everybody. We got Ryan Clayton in the house. Yo, what's going on? Ryan? Matt LeGrand. Suspects in the chat section. LSing the entire 100K is crazy. That would be totally nuts. I still don't understand. Did he use like the GoPro app to do that? To Ginger Runner?
I thought he did it on phones. And so my recollection was like their big concerns were data, like churning through all their data, and then battery life. So I think they put a phone in a gimbal and then taped a battery pack to the gimbal so that the phone would stay charged up. So I think they did it from a phone.
That's unbelievable.
If I recall correctly.
Oh man.
I mean, it was insane because like you would wake up in the morning and they would be like starting to run for the 100K. And then you got home from work and you're like still running this 100K. And I was like, this is incredible. And you could rewind like the entire day. And I was just like, this is crazy.
I don't know if you watch, do you watch like camera YouTubers? Like, the like Peter McKinnon's and all those guys. There's a guy named Potato Jet. Do you know him?
Oh yeah. Love Potato Jet.
He did a 12-hour, or no, he did a 24-hour live stream on his channel.
I didn't see that.
24 hours. Or was it? No, maybe it wasn't a live stream. He vlogged for 24 hours, did not cut, did not hit stop, and uploaded the entire 24-hour video. It was incredible. Like, including him just sleeping with the camera aimed at him is really...
That's funny.
And somebody, you know how people go in the comments and like put timestamps in for people? Yeah. Like for real, someone went in and timestamped every detail of this 24-hour video. Amazing.
That's really funny. Jamil did something like that for the what was it, like the 24-hour race. that was on the track. That was a little while ago. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't see that.
He was on there, and I remember watching that. And they started, I think, in the middle of the night.
Oh man.
And then, like, I remember tuning in like 12 hours later, and it looks basically like you would imagine from someone who's been like live streaming by themselves and like announcing a race around a track for 12 hours. It was amazing. Like an amazing feat of endurance, not only to get this thing filmed, but also for him to live stream it and like announce it. It was amazing.
I did watch his, I think it was a marathon live stream around a helicopter pad or something on the roof of a building.
Wow.
And that inspired me to run a half marathon in my backyard live streamed, which it wasn't quite on the same level, but it was still interesting. Jody says 100K it should be 100 miles, not 100K when you hit 100K.
Well, I mean,
I kind of agree.
So I think it's 100K. So that's why I say it's 100K. I don't think I could do 100 miles. I think that's beyond me.
I tell you what, it's not running anymore at 100 miles. It's like, it's totally mental, and, there's so many other factors, your digestion, your, fatigue, your ability to cope with, lack of sleep, like all those weird variables that play. I lost my mind. I didn't sleep. Like even when I finished, I couldn't fall asleep when I got home for some reason. So I stayed up for like 48 hours straight. It was the weirdest, yeah, it's a very strange experience.
Yeah, I feel like the sleeping part is what really throws me for the 100-mile races, and also just like, oh, that's so much packing. I'm just not very good at planning that far ahead, and so I just feel like I'd like to wing it a little bit more, but I feel like that's an event that doesn't really tolerate that, and so there's just a lot of reasons why that doesn't appeal to me that much. But like, I don't know. I assume at some point I'll get talked into it. I don't know when that'll be.
I ran my first 50K, and I remember when I finished, I was like, you know what? That's good. That's enough. That's exactly what I needed to accomplish. And then it just like 6 months later, I was running 100-miler.
Really? That's quite a ramp up. Like,
yeah, it went fast. Okay, let's see who else we got here. I think Mike said he aspires to do 100K, but I could be wrong. We're way behind in the chat. Hello from Boston. Hello, Scott. We're neighbors, man. I'm right up the street from you. Hello from cold upstate New York. It's pretty darn cold here too. In fact, in my office, I have like a wall space heater that I unplug for live streams because it's very loud, and I can feel the cold. At the start of the stream, I was hot, and now it's creeping in because the heat's not on anymore. Matt B, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Mike, would you trade your Vantage V2 for a 945? A Garmin 945. Do you have a Vantage V2?
I do.
Oh, nice.
I love it, but would I trade it for a 945? I don't know, but the 945 is probably the next Garmin that I'll be testing. I keep waiting to see if there's going to be an update. I don't know what the Garmin release schedules are like, and so like I know like the 700 series just got an update, so I'm like, does that mean the 900 is going to get an update soon? So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, if it goes cheap on Amazon again, I'll probably pick one up. Because I want to try one with the maps on it, because I just get lost so easily that like I feel like, no turn-by-turn navigation on any watch has been able to keep me from getting lost, even on a route that I've planned myself and I know like where I'm going. Like I'll miss it somehow. And so like I'd like to see like, I ran with the Apple Watch in terms of the maps there, but I'd like to see how Garmin does it, because I don't think I've ever had Garmin with maps. Yeah,
it's certainly not like your car navigation, but it's super nice. I think my favorite feature of the maps is like, as a trail runner, we have these like local spiderweb trails where you can just get lost. And I like to just get lost, and then I can hit back to start, and it automatically knows how to get me back there the quickest way possible without using the route that I ran in, that's a killer feature. But I feel like a lot of people don't care about maps. I feel like I have to have them now. It's a weird switch once you have it. But actually on the 945, I think I'd expect, if I had to speculate, a 955. There's a lot of rumors about that right now. And I think like May, June, probably, if I had to guess. Okay. But that's a total speculation. I have no inside information there.
Okay.
Hey, Soul Brother, good to see you. Hey, thanks for joining. Aftershocks are the best. Have you tried those? Those earphones?
Yeah, I have a pair of them, and I'm testing a different set of earbuds. Or I guess they're not really earbuds that are a similar style to that. Um, that will work better with winter hats. My premise with Aftershocks has been because of that band in the back. If you've got like a winter hat and then a buff over everything, it's gonna get all weird in there. And
Yeah.
so like I'll have to try them again. That's the thing I don't like about it. Plus, I just always feel like I don't love the sound that comes out of it. I feel like there's a lot of noise leak, and so like I don't know if I'm overemphasizing those things, but they're never my favorite. When people rave about them, and I'm like, I wish I could be that enthusiastic about them as you are.
Yeah, my wife loves them. She
Mhm.
only runs in those. She likes that being aware of her surroundings,
Mhm.
but I don't like the tickly. You get like a tickle. Like maybe
Mhm.
it's because I'm a bald dude. That might be it.
Mhm.
But there's like a like that buzz kind of vibration that's just really irritating to me. I can't get over that.
Yeah, for me,
Um,
I always want to just push them in because like when you push them in, then the bone conduction like really works, and I'm like, oh, now there's bass. Now I
oh
can hear
yeah,
the music, But then I'm like, then when I want to run, I'm like, oh, now it's sad sounds again. So like, that's just my like, I don't know. I like bass heavy sound, so I think that's what it is.
I think I had this conversation with Ray Maker a while ago,
Mhm.
and I wanted to ask you. So you're YouTubing, releasing 5 videos a
Mhm.
week. Maybe you're live streaming every day. Do you think YouTube has had a negative or positive impact on your running performance, training, discipline, regimen, all that stuff?
I think that it's both good and bad. And so like I think that there are certain times where I feel like I'm running because I want to make content, and where I'm like I probably would have taken it really easy this week, and maybe that actually would have been really good, or maybe that would have been really bad for me. I'm not really sure which one, but I feel like kind of like it's like the next level up from having Strava and like wanting to go for a run so you can have that Strava post. So like
Yeah.
quantifying or gamification. It's like just that, but like to like the next level up on top of it. And so it's good and it's bad for my training in the sense that having Strava is good or bad for my training. That's kind of how I think of it. But then there's other times where I'm like, well, if I really want to test this shoe, I got to go fast in it. And maybe it's not a great day for me to have a hard workout because maybe, you know, sleep wasn't great. And maybe I've been feeling under the weather for a couple of days. But like, if I don't do it now, that's really going to jam up the schedule because I need to do these other things. So there's been times where I've like done a workout or something like that when it probably wasn't the best idea. But I think for the over under, it's good in the same sense that technology is good for running and bad in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I struggle with it sometimes. Like I do a lot of like studio stuff and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that negatively affects me because I could be spending that time doing stuff for myself, but I
Mm-hmm.
also enjoy it. So it's kind of like the creative outlet, you need to have balance, right?
Right.
But I feel you there. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, there we go. Soul Brother, what about that headband with the inbuilt headphones I reviewed? Sent it straight back. Actually, it's an interesting story. um, I didn't love those things. I don't know if you saw those, Mike. I got like some
Mm-hmm.
headbands that had it was weird. It was like a vibrating puck that like vibrated against your skull to create music. Actually, it didn't sound bad. It sounded better than the aftershocks, but
Hmm.
it just wasn't my look, man. It just wasn't for me. So actually, my wife found them pretty interesting, and so
Hmm.
she's been using them lately, and they're not bad. That's
Is it
you
just
know,
one, like on the
yeah,
side of your head, like this?
yeah. That was the issue for me.
Oh,
It
not
just
two?
one. No,
I
just
would think
one.
two.
So it kind of resonated through your skull, but in a really
Oh,
weird. It didn't sound like it was coming from both sides at all.
I
I
didn't
didn't
realize
like it.
that was. I saw the thumbnail for that one, but I don't think I ever watched that video. I remember the thumbnail, but that's a weird. Because my sister had bought me earmuffs that had little speakers in them, so like you would keep your ears warm in the winter, and then it would also be Bluetooth, um, like little earbuds in it, and those were not great. So I was like, those are probably like those things my sister got me. So I'm probably not gonna watch that one.
This felt like it was designed for like phone calls or something, not so much music, and maybe it would be
Yeah.
good for that. Mike, when's the last time you ran with your GoPro? I was going to ask you, this is on my list because all you're doing now is your Insta360 videos. When's the last time you had your GoPro out there?
I ran with the GoPro this morning, but like I've not had a camera with me in a long time. I mean, it's probably been less than a year. There's got to have been one point where I was like, I'm not going to be filming today because no, even then I usually just bring something because then I'll post something on Instagram from it. But there are times when I'll like leave the house and like the battery's dead for some reason. I've had that happen before. So I might not have footage, but I still had the camera. So I guess that's like even worse, but I don't know. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of runs. It's been, I mean, yeah, I think I run with some sort of camera every day. And even if I have nothing, I probably will have my iPhone. So I'll take some sort of footage or at least like one like quick clip.
On that topic, do you ever run without a watch?
No. I mean, yesterday I ran without like music. So I had no phone and my Apple Watch was dead, but I still had my Vantage on. So I had my Polar on. So like, I think that since I got my first running watch, which was the Garmin Vivo Active 3, I don't think that I've not had one.
It's a weird feeling. I think I've done it recently with like a dead battery and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, does it even matter if I run right now?
Yeah, I've had that happen before. And then I was like, what am I even going to write on Strava when I get home? You know, I was just like annoyed about it. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm running easy. So I'll just do a really slow because I don't want anyone to think that I'm making stuff up. So we'll do that. I know the distance, you know, because I, have my set of routes. So like, but you know what? It's not going to it's going to show as a day I took a rest in my Polar Vantage. So it's like, it's going to say I'm detraining by the end of the week. So I was grumpy about it. I spent like most of the run being like, it's going to affect everything.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I hate the, as a guy who I'm always cycling through watches and I hate the VO2 max and like the training load and stuff now because I'm not always wearing the same watch. And it's always like, you're going downhill, man. Your body's just on a crash course. And like, it's because I'm not wearing them all at the same time. That's
why you got to wear the one all the time. And then your other wrist is your testing wrist.
Yeah.
So that's what so that way I always have the one that I like. That stays constant. So I stay in that ecosystem and everything is in there. And then the other wrist, but then I can always well, I need to do it for control purposes to have two watches at the same time. So that's kind of how I do it. I
do that
ridiculous.
For running, but like everyday life, I can't, I'm just not comfortable with two watch, like sleeping with a Vantage V2 and a Phoenix 6. I don't know. I don't know if that's my bag. I guess I should be to get accurate data. 2 times. Yeah. Dave, do you think the Phoenix 7 will be with us anytime soon? Not sure if I want to wait or go for the Phoenix 6. Did I say Phoenix 7 or Phoenix 6? Again, I have no inside knowledge with what Garmin's doing there, but I think the pandemic has had some effect on their release schedule because usually by now we would see something like we were talking about, like the Forerunner 955, I think. But yeah, I really don't know. If I had to guess, I would guess late 2021 because the 955 has to come out first. That's the order of progression. It's always the Forerunner flagship first, and then the next Phoenix line comes after that. So once you see that 955 or whatever they call it, then you've got some hope for Phoenix 7. But I wouldn't hold your breath. In the Phoenix 6 is super cheap right now. So it's definitely worth buying if you're interested in it. Hope that helps. Mike, I've got some totally random questions for you that I thought would be fun.
Right.
These may or may not be related to running at all, but I thought it would make for interesting conversation. So let me see. Actually, before that, I didn't even mention that you just had a major move, right? You just moved from Iowa to Chicago. How'd that go? Are you settled in? Are you guys, has the dust settled from all that?
I mean, not really, but kind of. I mean, was staying with my in-laws for an extended period, and now we're back home in our apartment here. So we're back home, and kind of like still figuring stuff out. Like we've come back, and now the kids are like just completely different sizes than when they left. So like everything we came back to has to be like sorted through and gotten rid of, and like all the toys that they played with before now, like most of them they don't want. So we got, so it's like moving back home to like a bizarro version. It's like the adult version of like, there's always that sitcom motif where like, oh, the goldfish died, better get another goldfish, and maybe the
Yeah,
kid won't notice. I feel like it's that, but with our entire life here, because it's like it all looks the same, but none of it quite is right.
that's
So we're all
that's
just kind of like, I
bizarre.
don't know. The kids seem fine, but I'm just kind of like everything just seems weird. Everything's off.
Yeah, that's
Uh, I'm,
bizarre.
I'm having some adjustment issues, I guess.
Yeah. How are the kids doing? Are they settling in okay, or was it just
They're
another
fine.
day?
They're excited to see like all their old toys. Like, oh, I haven't seen this in forever. And then other ones, they're just like, I don't know what that is.
That's
But
that's a good that's a good trick is you take one of their toys away and you hide it, and
yeah,
then they forget it, and then 2 weeks later you reintroduce it, and you just bought yourself 2 hours of your life that you can
yeah,
go do something because they're entertained for 2 hours with a toy that they've owned for 5 years. So you must
yeah.
be
There, I
having
mean,
some of that going on.
there's definitely that happening. And it's kind of like cute to see them playing with toys that they haven't played with in a while. But also, there's not as much opportunity for them to get outside and just burn off some energy. So I think they've been picking at each other a little bit. And usually the younger one picks on the older one a little bit more because I think that that's how siblings are. The older one knows better, like she can't like hit back or like retaliate in any way. So they're just, I think they're getting a little antsy, and it's only been like 2 days. So like
What do you
we'll see how
what
much
do you
longer
have
they can
for
last.
what do you have for ages for the kids?
4 and 9,
4 and 9, and are they boys, girls?
both girls.
Both girls. So I've
Mm-hmm.
got three boys, two,
Mm-hmm.
4, and 8. And if
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about picking on each other, man,
Yeah,
it's like the
it's a different level.
WWE in my family room. They're killing each other. It's borderline like concerning. They're like dropping elbows off the couch on each other, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. How is the how's it been getting through the whole, the state of the world, and the pandemic, being trapped at home? How is that? Is that like bonding time for you? Do you feel closer to your kids, or do you feel like you need to get the heck out of there sometimes?
Oh no, I mean it's definitely been great because I'm just spending so much time with them. Because otherwise, it'd be like we have like a couple of minutes in the morning when I'm like hurrying them up to get to school. We have like 2 minutes of time on the bus where we can like sit, and actually like communicate, and
Yeah.
then like hurry up and walk as fast as you can to get to drop off because I got to get to work, and then you don't see them until the end of the day, and then you're like, hurry up, eat dinner. How's your day, by the way? Also, hurry up so that we got to get your homework done and like brush teeth and get ready for bed. So it was like, there's a lot of rushing before where now it's like, I don't care. Like where are we gonna go? What do we need to do? What are we gonna be late for? So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of letting things just flow at whatever kind of pace that they want to flow. So it's been nice. I feel like it's been a lot less stressful in the house because we're not constantly like hurrying up to get somewhere.
Yeah. There's some silver lining to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ivan Acosta, do you know when Solomon will be releasing their 2021 hydration packs? I do not. Do you?
No, no. I don't think I've ever run in a Solomon pack before. I don't normally need hydration packs for like the kind of running that I do. And when I do have them, always feel like I'm kind of using them wrong anyway. So I'm not probably the best person to ask for Solomon packs.
When you run, you've got a
Mhm.
camera. What do you
Mhm.
where do you just hold it the whole time while you're running?
Yeah, it collapses down. So like think of it like if you think of it like a hammer, I'm holding it on the handle, but close to like where the hammer part is, because
Yeah,
that's like the
yeah.
center of its gravity. So for like 99% of the time, I'm just holding it in either my right hand or my left hand, and I'm just running with it. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah, so it took a while, I mean, I think for someone who hasn't done it before, it'll be like, this is weird. And it is kind of weird.
I
But
still
like for
can't
me
get
now, it's
over.
like second nature.
I still can't get over like talking to a camera in public when there's other people around. Like being, "What's up, everybody? Here I am at the whatever." You know, it's still awkward.
But it was that exact like feeling that made me think, oh, doing it while running is the best way to like get over that. Because like by the time someone can recognize like, oh, that dude's doing something weird, you're already gone. And like you
Yeah.
might never see them again anyway. And so it's
You,
like it was really time efficient for me because then I was like, now I'm not like trying to like daily vlog and like film everything that's happening during the day. I'm doing all the filming like during the run, and it's while I'm running, I'm exercising, and I'm like, don't have to worry about people staring at me because I'm already gone before they realize something weird is happening. So I felt like this is a really nice way to condense a lot of things in one. So that's how I like really was like, I love this run vlogging stuff.
Brian Nee, what are some new features that you would like to see in running watches? Do you have anything in mind there, Mike?
I would like for it to be easier to see the data, like in a way, like, I mean, I guess having the phone is if I'm not running, I could look at it on my phone, but I feel like looking at the data on the watch is always kind of like not that great. I feel like it's a
Yeah.
lot of like push the button, not that one, not that one, not that one, that one. Okay, that's it. Oh, but I just need more detail. So I've done all this pushing and I still need to get to the phone anyway. And so like I don't know how you solve that problem or if that's a problem that even really needs to be solved, but I do like every day, like once my run is done, like I've got a little bit before I get inside the house. And because I don't run to like my front door, and so like in that time, that's a good time for me to like, catch my breath, look at the data. I mean, I guess I could just sync it fast, but I don't know.
No, it's a good
Um,
feature request. I think like Polar does a pretty good job at that. But there's some out there that don't even give you a summary after that are just like, well, you're done. Hopefully you find it on your phone later on.
yeah, like please consult your watch for further detail.
Yeah.
There's some that are like that. But that's one thing. I think I'm trying to think of what else I'm really missing from watches. I mean, watches
It's
are pretty great right now for me.
it's
I would
it's
like,
crazy to think like Garmin needs to like how are they gonna I mean everybody will find a way to level up or new specs or features, but like there's
Mhm.
so many things packed in to these watches now that's hard to think about where they can go next, you know?
Right. I mean, like the main ways for me would be battery life is another, just like a big one. I just don't want to have to think about it.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I mean, if they can make the screen better, so like every one of the running watch brands has a beautiful screen model, but it's usually not also their best watch.
Yep.
And like combining those two, I'm assuming right now is cost prohibitive, or just gets too bulky. One of the two.
I think it might be the battery issue because those pretty
Yeah,
screens they take a lot of
they
juice
sure do.
and if you buy a Phoenix 7 OLED or whatever and it's only got 2 days of battery life and it's $900, I don't know how many people would jump on that.
I mean,
you know,
yeah, I think if that's the spec sheet, I feel like I don't know that the product's dead in the water, but people are gonna be like, "Why would I get that?" I mean, I don't know, I don't know, but like,
yeah.
I mean, it's like the other way to look at it is, the running like metrics. I think are pretty well. I mean, even now, most of a lot of watches are having power from the wrist, right? So like, I think that like in terms of like the running data is pretty comprehensive, and I'm not seeing huge differences in like any one or the other watch's ability to like collect the raw data. So I think like after that, you're looking at like how is it to live with it? How hard is it to like create a structured workout on it? You know,
Yeah.
and how well does the workout that I make on my watch export out to look at it on Strava, So like
Yep.
those are I think the things that turn like a watch that technically can do all the functions into a watch that's really great to live with. I think that's where like that's what separates the different brands is how well they get to that other part.
Yeah, that's a good answer. We got Oscar Perez. We'll just take a couple more and then we'll wrap it up. I know you've already been streaming for an hour today. So, so Oscar Perez says, what is a good new runner watch? Do you have anything to share on that?
Yeah, I reviewed the Garmin 45,
Nice.
and I really enjoyed that one. But I feel like the 245 is a little bit more expensive, but gets you a giant bump in features. So I feel like that's a really good one. I also I reviewed the Koros Apex last year, right around the same time that the Koros Pace 2 came out, and I was looking at the spec sheet for the Koros Pace 2, and I was like, I'm assuming like the functionality is the same in terms of the usability as the Koros Apex. But if it has all those features in the Pace 2, I'm like, I don't understand why this Apex would exist anymore. Like that Pace 2, like it's just like the bang for your buck is incredible.
Yeah,
So
I
like
tend
that's
to
probably
agree.
another one that I would look at.
I think my go-to recommendation now has pivoted from, it used to be the 245,
Mm-hmm.
but the Pace 2 is so killer for 200. It's $200, and like it competes with things that are way more expensive than it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the Apex gets the navigation, which is kind of a bummer that you don't get that on the Pace 2, but for everything else, they're nearly identical, crazy good battery life, super light, cheap. So if you break it, like, not the end of the world. I really think that's kind of my go-to recommendation. I'm glad they saw, because they had that $600 Vertex come out, and I got to review that. It's a really cool watch, but like, it came in a flight case, with foam inside, and like, it was just like, you could have made this a little bit cheaper. I feel like their niche is making like really affordable, high spec devices and not like super luxury stuff. So I'm glad they realized that.
Yeah, but I
Um,
also feel like maybe is like I don't know who's behind Koros, but maybe there's some like old school watch industry insiders in that, because I feel like that's like a very much like a watch industry move is to do
yeah.
that. Like this watch is fantastic, and we're gonna have like a fantastic experience from like looking at it on the website to getting it sold to you at a store to bringing it, like that's like a very watch thing, it seems to me.
Yeah, like a Rolex or something, right? Like you'd put it in a pouch or like in a display case when you're not using it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know personally, but like that's what I understand those watches are like.
A Hall, this is a good question for you. Mike, do you think you'll always stick to running YouTube videos, or do you think you'd ever switch back to family vlog content or other content?
Yeah, I mean, for now, it's definitely going to be running YouTube content, but I could see it switching under like a couple of circumstances. I mean, I might get just bored of the genre. That could be one thing. But like last year, I had some issues with my knee, and I was like, all right, well, if I can't really run like I used to, like what then?
Yeah,
Um, but like, I don't think it'd just be like, well, now I have to swim because I got bad knees, or I mean, that could be one potential for the channel, but there's a couple other YouTubers that I watch that have done kind of similar, that have just switched genres a little bit, because like this is just what they were interested in, and they just kind
yeah,
of followed their interest, and so that's really the only kind of like guiding principle that I'm gonna have is like whatever is like speaking to me and kind of makes sense and is fun to keep making, you know that's what I'll shift to. Like, I mean, let's say like hypothetically we're talking about like the Pegasus 48 instead of the 38 for this year, like am I still going to be really excited about a Pegasus 48? Like 10 years from now I'll be
yeah,
51. I mean, there's a lot of 51-year-old runners out there. A lot of them watch me. I think so, probably. But like, how excited am I going to be to make that video? I'm not sure. I hope I am, but I'm not like, you know it's not a situation where I have to like assign a contract and to keep making content or anything. So the nice thing is I can kind of go where the interests are. And I think ultimately that's where to the extent of, I'm thinking it from like a YouTube channel, like productivity perspective, whatever I'm interested in making, that's where the views are going to be, I think.
yeah. Yeah, and one thing I do respect about your channel is like you did a Sony A6100 video, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with your niche, but you did it
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and it's because you're passionate, you're excited about your purchase, so it was worth sharing. And I watched it. I'm sure a lot of people other people did too. But there's this stigma out there about being on YouTube and niche down. You get a niche down, or people, you're gonna just kind of fade into the black. And I get it annoys me too because I have a lot of, I like the audio video thing. I
Mhm.
like the technical side. So I often want to talk about that stuff, but I feel like I can't do that on my channel. So I appreciate when you post something. It gives me validation that maybe I should be posting camera videos too someday.
Well, I mean, here's how I think about that is I think I am niching down when I do that. Niching down. I don't know which one it is because I mean, I think of it as like the broader like running YouTube, but I think like within that, this channel is more of like kind of like the running YouTubers running YouTube channel. And so I think of it like I'm not making my Sony A6100 video for someone that's going to shoot weddings, right? So
Yeah.
that's not who I'm talking to when I make this. I'm talking to someone else that's either going to make who's a small YouTuber or is someone that wants to make running YouTube content and wants a good talking head camera as well. So like that's kind of like how I approach it. So like, I know like the reason why people say like you got to niche down is because like if I make, and sometimes I make iPhone 11 or iPhone whatever videos, and like they're not going to get the views that like MKBHD does. It's never going to
Yeah.
even show up if I do a YouTube search for iPhone whatever. Like
Yeah.
Kofuzi's videos don't show up, but like the people that are subscribed to me that are runners and that are like, I want to be able to fit this. Will this fit in my tights? Will this fit in my running pack? Like those are the kinds of things like that I would talk about when I talk about those other things. So I feel like when I'm doing that, I am niching down, and hopefully that's what people are getting from it. And sometimes I'm like, I get comments that are like, why are you running so much at the beginning of this video? I don't understand it. Like when I make an air fryer video,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what the running footage is. I don't think I put running footage in that one, but like it'll go all over the place. But like runners got to eat, and a
Yeah.
lot of us probably have or are thinking about an air fryer. So what does a runner think about an air fryer? So that's kind of how my approach to it and how I make it different from like if iJustine makes, I don't know if iJustine ever made a air fryer video, but if she ever made one, like how it would be very different than hers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I like that though. Okay. So, I've got one more question and then we're going to do some totally rando questions. But so, Kofuzi, the name, I never caught the backstory to the name. Can you share? I'm just curious. Where did
yeah,
Kofuzi come from?
yeah, it's a college nickname I gave myself. So, um, there wasn't a ton of thought into it, but last name is Ko. And I was taking a East Asian, like intro to East Asian studies course in college, and we were learning about Confucius. And so Confucius is, not really sounds that exist in like Asian languages, but the way it came to be Confucius is from Kong Futsa, right? Kong was the guy's last name. Futsa is master teacher. So I was like, oh, so Kong Fu, like Kung Fu, like, Kong Futsa. All right. So then Kofu, Kofutsa, Kofuzi. So like, that's kind of how it came to be.
At least there's a story. I like it. Okay. So name one YouTube channel that you're subscribed to that no one would ever assume. What's like a dark secret passion that you have that you watch on YouTube?
Dark secret passion. I
Like
don't know.
like
I mean, I feel like pretty much tell everybody what I watch.
you're like a
Um,
vegan, and so maybe you watch like meat smoking as like for some reason, you know?
no, nothing like that. I mean, I watch a ton of like camera, like I watch a lot of tech YouTube.
Okay.
So like, some of my favorite videos are like when, like I wasted $200 on Wish, like those kinds of
Oh,
videos.
love those. Love
I could
those.
go down a rabbit hole and watch those all the time, or like massive tech unboxing, just like 30 different brown Amazon boxes, and like what's inside this? Different cases for a Nintendo Switch. Awesome. We already have 4 different cases for our Switch. We use none of them, but I want to see him open that other box. So like that's something that I'll get stuck down a rabbit hole watching.
Nice. Okay, here's some random ones I wrote down. These are like totally off the cuff. Let's see.
Okay.
If you could listen to one song on repeat for every run for the rest of your life, what would it be? You have to choose one.
Um, Probably that Kanye and Daft Punk like collab song, like the you know
I know what you're
But Don't
talking
Kill
about.
Me
I
Can
don't know the
Only
name.
Make Me Stronger. Like that one. That one I could listen to like for running all the time.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, what did your 15-year-old self imagine you'd be doing right now?
My 15-year-old self. My 15-year-old self thought that I would be a doctor.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so
That's
yeah.
ambitious 15-year-old.
Well, I mean, it's pretty standard Asian fare.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah.
And the final question, this is the one to wrap it up. What
Okay.
is one subscription service in your current life that you could not live without? That could be anything on TV, anything fitness related, anything you pay monthly for. StreamYard, for instance. What couldn't you live without?
Right now it'd probably be Disney Plus because of the kids.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I mean, I watch a lot of stuff on it, but like the kids are watching a ton of stuff on it. So like that would be really hard for me to be able to get through like a week if the kids were like. I mean, I guess we'd still have Netflix in that if I'm like knocking out one, but like Disney Plus is pretty important in our house these days.
Okay, follow up to that. Have you watched The Mandalorian yet?
Yeah, I just
Oh,
finished
yeah.
watching it like a couple weeks ago. My productivity like plummeted because like normally like I'll have something on as I'm working and like making videos, but then I would turn that on and then I would just find myself like hands on keyboard but not typing and just like doing this, so because I'm watching it, it feels like I'm working, but I'm just watching The Mandalorian. So like there was that for like a good like week or two.
All right. I'm going to let you go now. Mike, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun. Finally got to chat and good to, meet you virtually. Maybe someday we could actually go for a run together when this whole mess clears up and you're in the Boston area or I'm down in your neck of the woods. That'd be really awesome.
That'd be great.
All right. Thanks again, Mike. If you haven't already, make sure you go check his channel out. I got it linked down in the description. Hit that subscribe button over there to this guy. And he'll post some really awesome air fryer videos in the future. All right. I think that's all I got for you. I think we're done here. Thanks,
Cool.
Mike. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.